I think we have about 30 people joining today. So we'll see. We'll give it a few minutes, but feel free to introduce yourselves or say hello to people.
Hi, I'm Heather Semanis. I work for UT in development for the College of Communication, Moody College.
Heather, are you in LA right now?
I am, yes. So unfortunately a little close to the fires right now, but okay for the minute. So
yeah, my friends in Monrovia are actually being evacuated.
Oh, I heard that. I know I'm in Pasadena, so I'm a little bit west, but it's just a little, when I heard Monrovia too, it's unsettling. Yeah. So anywho, nice to meet everybody. Sorry, I think I clicked on something weird.
So we're just going to give it a few minutes. We had about 30 people RSVP. So just going to see who joins before we get started. So feel free to say hello to people. Sven, it looks like you have like the perfect lighting. Do you have a ring light on you?
Oh no, I have a, I had to mock up a 3-point lighting system for my students to show them what difference it makes.
Yeah.
And then color grade it in real time. So you see this sort of green hue thing going on.
Yeah.
And I can switch between CSI Miami and CSI New York if I want to, basically.
Do that in the middle of this, just so we get a different feel. That's awesome. Paul, you've got the green screen ready. Are you going to do a cool background? Oh, you're on mute. There we go.
I've been having some technical difficulties, but yes, there's my cool background.
You brought some friends with you.
Is that a background or is that your house?
Oh, this is my house. Yes, this is my game room that I've turned into my VR room.
Wow, look at that game room. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the music/game room. I've got a old pinball machine, and my Miss Pac-Man has over 60 80s and 90s games on it. So
that's awesome.
My lunch break. Brad, you changed your picture. I saw you in a helicopter just a minute ago.
I don't think that was a helicopter. Oh, yeah. That was that was construction equipment.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
It's like you were in a helicopter.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I thought I had a picture of my wife and I up, and no, that's in like a giant front loader.
Oh, wow.
You know,
well, I hope you guys have had a good summer. See, I think, Anna, I'm going to make sure that you're co-host too. Did I do that already? I'm going to make you host so that way you can handle the breakout rooms. Do you have that access?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's 18 of us. Do you think we should get started, y'all? Yeah? And we'll let other people kind of come in as we go along. Oh my God, I'm so excited to get this group together. Welcome to the first Lunch and Learn for the XR community. To give you a little bit of background about this, some of you guys know, we started this with beginning of the summer, trying to put a pop-up institute together on XR, how do we, our new normal, how is XR impacting learning, living, and working? So can you raise your hand and let others know if you were part of that pop-up institute idea? A few of you? Yeah. So a few of you come from the pop-up institute. I think we had over, was it 12 colleges represented on that pop-up institute. And there were like 25 faculty and graduate students who had signed in and said, hey, yeah, sign me up. So it sounds like extended reality, which is an umbrella term. You know, it really encompasses a lot, from augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things. It's not just the technology, but it's the practices and scholarship that can unfold in exploring those. We all got together and said, let's do this. So for those of you who didn't know, the Pop-Up Institute did not get funded, but the Liza Scarborough, the VP of Research, reached back out and said, this is a really interesting idea. It sounds like there's a lot of interest. Why don't you get started with like just putting together a research agenda and seeing who wants to just on a regular start building this research community, and see if there's other funding out there. So she gave us a small amount of funding, and so did the Faculty Innovation Center, gave us some funding to build this community focused on XR and learning, especially because a lot of people are trying to figure out, is there anything beyond Zoom to do in the classroom? I think maybe we're probably all experimenting in this space. So that's where this came out. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Erin Riley. You probably have seen an email from me. I'm the Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship for Moody College, and I have a faculty position in the Stan Richards School, where I've launched Texas Immersive, right in this wheelhouse, which is a sequence to encourage students in thinking about audience storytelling and emerging tech. I've had some great partners over the summer helping me kind of coordinate, start thinking about putting this lunch and learn together, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Paul, Sven, and Lucy all were part of the Pop-Up Institute, but they've also been in different regards helping to think through how we could all like start building this community. So Lucy, you want to introduce yourself and then pass it?
Sure thing. I'm Lucy Atkinson. I'm also in the Stan Richards School of Advertising. I'm an associate professor there. Erin and I have been working on a lot of things over the summer, really trying to get this this idea of XR into research and then teaching as well to I think a lesser degree, but it's there as part of what we want to do. I'm very new to extended reality. I have a couple of research projects that are looking at AR and VR, and I find it fascinating. So I'm really hoping to learn as much as I can through this and to connect with other people across campus, because as Erin and I, talk about these things, we know there are other people out there doing it. And so building some kind of network or community would be really helpful. So I will pass the baton to Sven to introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sven Otal. I am an associate professor in the Department for Theater and Dance, and I lead the Integrated Media MFA program there. That program focuses on storytelling using media and integrating that with other design components to tell stories to live audiences in real time, essentially. So it's human-centered design. The reason why I'm interested in this area of work is because I'm in some way always been working in immersive environments, because when you're working in the theater, you're always imagining what the audience, what surrounds the audience and what the audience feels and sees. So you're always imagining the entire world. So we, as theater practitioners, you get trained that way. So I look at this technology as an extension of this tool set. And I'm a practitioner, I'm a professor, I'm an associate professor of practice, and I work a lot with media and other designers. So I look at I think in theory, anything is possible. Let's start with a story and then figure out the solutions and find the right tools to tell that story. That's how I approach things generally. And Paul, you want to follow up?
I need to unmute myself. Sven, you got a really good camera, by the way.
It's a 12-year-old digital SLR that I hacked to become a webcam.
It's good. Looks good.
I was going to say there's some depth of field there.
Oh, yeah.
It's all in the lighting.
It's all in the lighting. That's right.
A nice patina you've got going on too.
I'm Paul Toprak. I am professor of instruction at the computer science and also have headed the game development program. Yeah, there's some lightning and thunder going on out there, isn't there? Things are happening. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this without some blackout. Headed the game development and design program at UT since inception in 2012. And also I am the principal investigator of the Saga Lab, where we make games and mobile apps and VR experiences. So that's where my interest comes in, is actually trying to make the stuff that other people think up of. Hopefully, I partner with professors and we come up with stuff that is, or other researchers and sometimes staff, and come up with stuff that's useful, including, for research. And what else? Oh, okay, yes, and I, along with Aaron, co-founded XR Alliance, which is a website, xra.utexas.edu, and it has a list of members in there that are interested in doing the sort of XR research and teaching and other resources out there. And so far, it can be expanded, and that's one of the things that we can talk about later on.
Great, great. And so we're all going to have a chance to get to know each other. We have a fun activity designed to make it a little bit more immersive instead of just sitting around and talking and kind of introducing ourselves this way. I'm all about fun. So like we're hoping these lunch and learns are all about the fun. So Paul, and I'm highlighting the XR Alliance. We want everyone to be a member of that, including the listserv. And Anna, wave your hand, Anna. So Anna's been hired as our research coordinator. You probably have already received an email from her. She is one of my Texas Immersive students. I put them all to work all the time. And she's taken 2 of my classes. So you'll hear from Anna a lot, and she probably will also give you at the end of this lunch and learn the listserv email so that we can start communicating with each other. Because I think, Paul, you put her as a moderator. So we got now a moderator taking care of it for us. Which is awesome. So I'm going to hand it over to Anna, and she's going to introduce us to like a fun little test activity. And if you guys are willing to go with us, we're going to not just stay in Zoom. We're going to move to GatherTown. Have you guys played with GatherTown? No? Are you willing to take a risk and play with us in GatherTown? Okay. So we're going to go to GatherTown for a little bit to do a social networking, just like if we were in the lab, which I really miss a lot, my lab. So we're trying to virtually recreate that here in these lunch and learns. And then we'll come back to Zoom to do breakout groups and kind of drill down on like, what do we want to get out of this community? Because this is for everybody. Everybody participate and add and share. This is the last lunch and learn that I'm organizing, and then I'm passing the baton to one of you. And I think we'll keep on passing the baton around so everyone has a chance to like kind of organize and share their research and bring something to the table. So Anna, you want to introduce this to everybody?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. So the activity we're going to do is a little personality quiz. I'm sending the link in the chat right now. It's just about your creative type. It's a bunch of one or the other questions. It shouldn't take too long. But as soon as you're finished taking that, we're going to head into GatherTown, which is a very cute little meet and greet online website in which you're going to be like meeting other people. When you go into GatherTown, after you get your creative type, you're going to go into GatherTown, and I'll put that link in the chat as well. But you're going to put your name and then the type you get, and then you can just walk around and meet people. You'll see it when you enter Gather Town.
Yeah, and it gives you a few, oh, is that me? Can y'all hear me? It gives a few directions when you walk into Gather Town on, like, if you're a gamer and used to keyboards, you can use WASD, or you can use your mouse to move around, or you can click on someone in the participant list, and they'll give you even direct accesses to go and find them. Notice that it's ambisonic. So if you're near someone, you can hear them. The farther you walk away, they disappear. And if you mute your mute here in your video, so turn off your video and mute your sound here in Zoom. When you go to Gather Town, you can have your webcam and your audio work in Gather Town. So you'll get to see a person's, like, my happy little face and my little cute avatar, which you can personalize as you walk around. So if you get stuck or anything, come find Anna and I, because we've been playing with it all morning. It's a 5-minute quiz to learn your creative type.
We're all coming back here.
In Gather Town. Yeah, we are. We're coming back here. So how was that?
It was fun.
Okay.
I'd do that again.
Is everyone still here, or are they in Gather Town? I just like the name.
That was so much fun.
You liked that? What did you like about that?
The fact it's like the physical space I simulate in the world. I can talk to a smaller group of people, because that's what Zoom can allow us to do, you know?
Yeah. I've been having problems with breakout rooms in Zoom, even though we're gonna put you guys in a breakout room in a minute, because I can broadcast a message out, but I have no back channel to each of those breakout rooms. So like, I'm back channeling using my Discord with students if they're in breakout rooms and they answer questions. And like, we have Anna, like, if Anna's giving her cell phone out to text message if you guys are in a breakout room. But in those Gather Towns, those like kind of spaces, you can just walk around, or there's that online chat where you can chat right there and everyone in the group can see it, you know? So it's just a little bit more of a feel of like, I'm part of a space, and not just my door is shut and locked in a breakout room and you can't see me.
I liked it for that reason. And I've run into the same, I didn't realize the problem with chat during the breakout rooms until we were in breakout rooms. So I was like, no one can see what I'm telling them.
Yeah.
So it's a nice solution to that.
Yeah, and I've tried a couple of others. I don't know if any of you have as well. I've tried high fidelity. That was so bad. I tried it twice. It was better in during the summer class because it was smaller, and I did this whole story activity where everyone had a different story beat, and you had to figure out the whole narrative by moving around and kind of piecing it together, and that was kind of fun. But then I tried doing it as like a share, like meet and greet, get to know you, and learned it had so much reverb. I could only hear the one student that had an amazing sound, a mic, and then all of us were using more of these headsets, and it was not good. So definitely try it out. Yeah, Verbella is also great, Mary. I'm hosting a meetup this today. I just go from event to event. Don't you guys just go event? So I'm hosting an event at 6 p.m. tonight in Verbella, which is more 3D virtual world. So instead of like Animal Crossing, where we're little 2D characters, in Verbella, you're in a 3D world, and you have to learn how to sit and stand and turn and look at people.
Can I ask a question about Verbella? I was looking at it a couple of weeks ago, and maybe Mary, you can answer this question, but it seems like for the free version that it's open to the public. So like, I could tell my students to meet me in a particular place, but in theory, anyone else could be there, right?
That's correct.
So questions of privacy, does that become an issue?
So unless someone knows more, Verbella does have like a personal room that you can go into. So even though it feels public, you can find some personal space. But I do think that if you were having students come in there, then you'd really have to think about investing in the privacy, and then whatever their sort of lowest level is, where at least you get a private group. Or else, yes, I kind of felt like I quickly went into my own space and wondered, how could I invite people into this? Like, it's sort of like my office, in my virtual office in Verbella. So, but yeah, if I were inviting students into that space, I'd think very differently about privacy.
Yeah, and you might want to talk to Brad. He was here, but I don't see him anymore. But Brad Gold was doing his business classes in Verbella all last semester. And I don't know how he was able to do it over and over again, because they've told me that I can host this one event, and then after that they want us to pay. So
maybe it's the business school. They got money to burn maybe over there. They bought the Verbella space.
Maybe. If so, I'm gonna need to knock on Brad's door and say, hey, can I borrow it?
I didn't like the Verbella experience very much when I tried it out. It was not a very good 3D space. It was like the graphics and it kind of actually, walking around it kind of made me a little bit nauseous actually. So I don't know why, because I'm used to 3D games. So it was something about how they managed the graphics and displaying it and so it just didn't seem like that great of a. I like this Gather Town much more than I like Verbella. It's so simple and easy and intuitive.
Mm-hmm. I like what Sven's asking. Do you think it's better than Zoom in regards to going up to people and talking to them, because we were just kind of getting to know each other? What do y'all think?
It was good. It made me feel socially inept in the sense that I'm not an extrovert, and so just randomly going up to someone and saying hi felt a little awkward. And so I imagine how would students feel doing that. That said, I really liked it as a way, once I got past my own nerves, I liked it as a way to connect with people.
Yeah, I think also I think that the Zoom is a one-to-one conversation, or one-to-many actually, one-to-many conversation. You can't really have a one-to-one conversation. You can't go and hey Lucy, let's go talk about this over here while we're in the Zoom meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found myself being very self-conscious about walking up to people without saying hi and walking away from them without having some, even if it was a shallow excuse, like lost my charger, need a refresh, new drink or something, because I'm so used to that. And I'm not the most extroverted person either. So walking away from somebody without saying, oh, I need to grab another drink was really awkward.
Yeah, I wondered. I was like, well, I could just press this arrow and just walk away.
Or become invisible. You can become invisible, which again could be rude, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really weird.
And also, if you locate someone, I don't know if anyone tried locating someone, but I went to locate Lucy, and then until I turned off stop locating, I was tagging around her like a puppy dog. I didn't even have to move anything. It's just she kept on trying to move away from me, and I'm like, wait, I'm right here. What is going on? So it's kind of weird.
So it sounds like it mimics real life.
Well, there's this weird kind of cocktail effect. I mean, it's kind of a glitchy thing where if you're in between two people, you can hear both of them, but they can't hear each other. And so that came up once or twice. It's like proximity things are a little bit of a thing. So having clusters, I guess, would be helpful if it was more of a structured for a class or something. But for just kind of a cocktail party environment, it's kind of interesting because I'll be talking to somebody and both people can hear me, but they can't hear each other.
Yeah.
Can you change the map, the space? Can you modify that and put markers and you know, assign people to go to the tree over here or the
Yes.
bench over there? Okay.
Yeah. So I just used a template when I set up that link for us. And it was just like, I could have picked a park, or I could have picked university. Like I could have put us on MIT campus. They have a couple of other campuses from universities that are already there. Or you can upload your own image and mark, if you marked it in like Photoshop, you could actually say that, turn it into a game, or do some sort of hot potato where people have to move from cluster to cluster, you know, and you set it. And I think even though we might have lost a few people in Lunch and Learn from GatherTown to here, I would probably say we stay in one place next time, you know, because going back and forth. So I want to be wary of our time, and also just make sure you guys have a chance to not only we've kind of gotten to know each other. This is like a first, but we also want to make sure that we get a few questions on like, why are you here? And what do you want to get out of this community? And I had it that we break out into breakout rooms, but it seems like it's just us. There's about 15 of us here. You guys want to keep talking about it, and I pose a few questions and see if we get some answers before we close for the day. Does that sound good? Okay. So some of the questions is like, we really want to know why are you interested in this? So like, you can put it in the chat because we're recording it, or someone can shout out. We'll take maybe 2, and then I'll throw out another question. It'll be like fast question, like responses to get a few answers. And introduce yourself. If you haven't introduced yourself, please introduce yourself when you answer. So what prompted you to come to participate in the XR learning community? Someone who hasn't spoken yet?
I saw Paul's email. He sent it to, I think, one of the lists I'm on, and it overlaps with some of the stuff that I do research-wise. So I was like, I'll check this out, see what they're all up to.
Great. And Justin, you're with the computer science,
Yeah, I'm in the computer science department. My area of research is really robotics, but I work on human-robot interaction problems. So a lot of the study that starts with, how do people do this, or how do they interact with each other, or what changes when, you know, this is the medium. And I work a lot on autonomous human-robot interaction, but kind of understanding human behavior and then building a model of it, saying this is how I want to communicate this thing, is sort of an essential of that.
Great. And anyone else want to share, like, what brought you here, Max?
So I actually had a meeting with Professor Riley last week. I'm very interested. I'm a first year graduate student, just actually graduated from undergrad in advertising, and I'm now going straight back into the program to the graduate advertising program here at UT. I'm super interested in doing the immersive track, and so I'm trying to get my feet wet in everything virtual reality and digital I can do. And at the same time, I work for a company that is putting on VR and AR concerts and music festivals. So I'm really trying to learn. I do a lot of marketing and branding and client relations for them, but I want to learn a lot more about tech and like different opportunities we can go with the company. So, I mean, this is really cool.
Are you with Wave? Wave is in Austin. Which group?
I'm working with Buzznog. So it's a company that normally does mobile apps for music festivals or tours, artist tours. And so they took a big pivot when COVID hit and decided, we have all this tech, let's just create these virtual concerts for these artists that would want to partner with us.
Cool.
This is Cameron. I'm with the Dell Medical School. Mary Myers sent me the invite. Thanks, Mary. We have a lot of interest in these areas, and we've provided some electives for our medical students to experience AR and VR in the past few years, including things from like pain management to learning anatomy, immersive things like that. And the interest was enough that we put together a lab that Mary is managing, and we have a couple of student workers in there. So we are hoping as soon as this stuff is over, we could have more experience with the students. And we also subscribe to things like Oxford Medical Simulation, which provides VR environments. And we provide that for our students. So most of them did desktop, but we really would like at some point to be able to give them the VR experience and see what the effects are. And we would like to actually do some research on this.
That's great. So speaking of research, are there others, like I'd be curious to hear how many are already researching in this space. And I'm curious if we have like a sweet spot here at UT or if there's holes in the research. We started a literature review this summer that Pratik and Lucy were working on. And we're trying to gather scholars that are in this space across the different disciplines, which we'll share with you guys because we'd love to keep adding to it and see who do we want to bring in as guests over this year that would be of interest to this group.
So we were generating a little bit of research, which then got halted. We got a mini grant from a company called PCS, Patient Communication Simulators. And they have a new AI engine, this new virtual patient interaction platform that they call Spark. And we had won a small grant where we got an Oculus headset, and students were going to be coming into our health learning building, students who volunteer at a homeless patient's clinic. And they were going to, for the first time, start getting training on how to do patient intake in this avatar-based simulation experience based on this mini grant. So we were trying to build research around the experience in the headset, the experience, but trying to scaffold the immersive experience as part of this new form of training for these undergraduate and medical school students. But during the COVID-19 trend, they basically pivoted to a very telehealth on-screen experience where they're really still trying to figure out if this language engine is creating a good communication experience with students, but coming out of the headset. But there was research that we were starting to generate there, trying to figure out what does a good survey around an immersive experience look like, and its impact and its effectiveness and its in the learning environment and in the value to students and things like that.
Yeah, so I'm also in the medical school in the psychiatry department. So I have a research lab. My background's in cognitive neuroscience, and we are kind of on the user end of VR as much as we can to make our laboratory experiments more immersive and ecologically relevant. So we've been putzing around with VR for a long time, and Mason over there in the corners was in my lab. He's at UCLA now, but he's been helping out a lot with the VR studies. So it's kind of, for me, this is just a great way to get research ideas. Like even GatherTown, I started thinking about like social exclusion experiments. It's just a great way to kind of think about making our boring psychology experiments more relevant and immersive. And ideally, I do a lot of functional neuroimaging too in the MRI. So ideally, we can transfer some of this stuff to an MRI environment where you're not able to move, but you can at least interact with things a little bit more dynamically.
Can I talk really quick a little bit? Yeah, I think in the GatherTown, Paul just tried to start a conversation with me, but I unluckily just get out of the disconnected with the internet. So I just a brief introduce of myself. I'm Jingyue, but I go with Joyce if you like. That's easier to remember. Dr. Easting actually is my advisor, and I'm the first year PhD student in advertising at Moody College. And I want to thank you, gentlemen, for inviting me to this great communication. And I come to you before I come to UT this year. I study at the San Jose State University, and we have a VR lab in the communication department. And I did my master's with AR relative research for my master's thesis. So that's kind of like the reasons I bring me to the UT and the Moody College. And so I'm just really want to learn more about VR, AR, and XR related, and seeing future opportunities for research. Yeah. Glad to meet you guys.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. Does anyone else want to share a little bit about their interests, their research interest areas?
I can go next. Hi, my name is Pratik, and I'm a fourth-year PhD candidate at Stanford School of Advertising. Specifically, my interest within XR technology includes augmented reality, and I am already working on a paper with Dr. O and a few other colleagues, and we're looking at specifically two things in it. One is the entire study is basically divided into two parts. One basically looks at the attitude towards downloading mobile augmented reality apps. And the other study specifically looks at things like how do situated cognition basically helps and enhances the mental imagery, and that eventually leads to enhanced information processing and recall, and basically motivates the users to actually spread the message further. And my dissertation focus is more on looking at how does a customized and personalized digital environment help in social media engagement and self-disclosure to people of different personalities.
Great, great. Anyone else?
I can go next. Hi, I'm Charu. I'm also a fourth-year PhD candidate at the Stanford School. We've got a lot of Stanford School people here. My research interests are basically human-computer interaction. So mainly the relationship between people and technology. And I think it's really skyrocketed after the pandemic really took hold of our lives. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of changes there have been to our perception of technology and our relationship with it since then.
It's good seeing you again. Our research was completely put on halt due to COVID.
It was.
Yeah. Maybe the labs will open up again soon so we can.
Hopefully. I mean, that had to be an in-person thing, but
yeah.
Let's see, who knows?
We were looking at gender and AI with children.
Yes.
And how they genderize the smart devices in their homes. Great. So
there seems to be just remind me, is there anybody here from the iSchool?
No, but not that I can tell, but Min Kyung Lee would be a good, interesting person to pull in.
Well, Jackie Bailey would also be. Also be good. And
I know they were interested in coming, and it might be just well, we lost a few people through between Gathertown and here, and also I think that the time, it was hard to get one time that would work for everybody. So that does bring me to a question of like, you know, trying to get research off the ground really requires a lot of conversations, right? And learning what each other's expertise is and what are the big questions we can all come together. Is once a month as a lunch and learn, does that work for you guys? I'd be curious if you want to meet more often, or maybe through the listserv, we can extend these conversations. Does that sound good for people? Okay. So I know we only have 5 more minutes, and I know maybe twice a month. Yeah. So we'll put that down and start sussing that out through a follow-up survey to this to get a feel for like if we could do more than once a month, because I know there's a lot of different research, and just hearing what you guys are interested in, I'm thinking about a project we're working on that could really be beneficial to getting some researchers involved for some applied research. We have a survey that we're releasing today. Lucy, you want to talk a little bit about the survey?
Sure. So this survey is kind of an extension of the goal of this whole learning community, to really get a sense of on campus who's using VR, AR, you know, extended reality understood broadly, who's using it, how interested are faculty and students in using it, what are, the different levels of skill with this kind of technology, who has this technology on campus. We want this to be kind of a gathering document to help us understand, in a general sense, what is the XR community on campus? What does it look like? What is the expertise and what are the attitudes toward it? So the survey we put together, yeah, I don't think it's very long to complete, very easy to do. I think Anna might have a QR code that she's gonna release.
Yeah, here, Anna, you wanna share your screen and show a slide? And then we'll jump to the listserv afterwards. So if you guys scan that card, that QR code, you can take the survey now. And we also will be passing this email link, this link via email. And we would ask if each of you would share it with your colleagues in your colleges, as well as your students. There's a students that it's broken up, so we'll know if it's faculty or students participating in it.
And these are people who don't have to have XR experience. So, you know, if you could just send it as widely and broadly as possible. We're just trying to get a handle on, you know, across campus, how do people approach and think about XR?
And not only that, at the end, it asks about, like, do you have, are there potential guest scholars that you would like us to invite in, you know, areas of interest. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of add to the design of what these lunch and learns will be going forward. It's just the beginning. And then lastly, Anna, if you want to go to the listserv, write down this email address, xra@utlist.utexas.edu. This is the email that you can use, which will send out to everyone that's on this list, whether you're here today at the Lunch and Learn or not. And if you want to be added, you can just email Anna when she's given her email to be added to the listserv, so you receive the communication going forward. Okay. So I think we're wrapping up just in time. If anyone has any last comments, now's your chance. And if not, then we will be hosting, for the fall at least, the Lunch and Learns the second Wednesday of every month at 1 p.m. We probably will switch it in spring to allow for other people that couldn't make this time. And who's coordinating the next one? Sven.
Yeah, that was my question. Who's on the deck?
I've passed the torch to Sven to coordinate the next one, and then feel free to join in. Let us know if you want to be on the deck, and you can.
Yeah. I think I will reach out. I prefer not to talk all the time about all the cool stuff I'm doing. I'm more interested in what everybody else is doing, but I can always use my own work as a starting off point.
Yeah. I think it'll take a couple of meetings for us to all just get to know each other and see what we're interested on. So feel free to reach out and do it also through the email. And if you're not on the members of the XRA website, we definitely want you to be recognized as part of this community and the research you're doing. So please email Anna with your photo and bio, and we'll get you up there. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining the first one. Nice seeing all of you.
Thank you. Thanks for all the work, you guys.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. Take care.